seconds to like and subscribe, or else don't risk it. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you already know a little bit about Gabby Petito, but do you know everything? I am Crime Freak, and this is everything you need to know about the Gabby Petito case, the full story. So, let's start at the very beginning. It was supposed to be a trip of a lifetime lasting 4 months, but what happens when one comes home and the other is not to be heard of? It all started when 22-year-old Gabby Petito and her fiancé, 23-year-old Brian Laundrie, went on a trip across the country with each other. The two have been living with each other for 2 years and were your head over heels in love kind of couple. The two both love traveling and spending time with each other, and on July 2nd, after months of planning, they hopped into a white van and decided to travel across the country. On the trip, they would stop at many popular landmarks. Gabby was interested in vlogging her journey with the hashtag #VanLife. She posted tons of videos and pictures ranging from beautiful beaches to the tops of the Grand Canyon. She captured every smile, and it would appear like they were having nothing but fun. However, there were no smiles when the camera was off. While on the trip, police received a phone call from a fellow pedestrian giving a tip that he witnessed a man striking a female on the side of the road next to a white van. This, of course, would allegedly be Brian and Gabby.
Hi, I'm calling. I'm right on the corner of Main Street by Moonflower, and we're driving by, and I'd like to report a domestic dispute. Florida with the white van, Florida license plate, white land, gentleman,
Where's it at?
5'6" beard. They just drove off. They're going down Main Street. They made a right onto Main Street from Moonflower.
Or what were they doing?
But what'd you say?
What were they doing?
We drove by, and the gentleman was slapping the girl.
He was slapping her?
Yes, and then we stopped. They ran up and down the sidewalk. He proceeded to hit her, hopped in the car, and they drove off.
Okay, you said it's a white van?
White van. I give you the license plate. Just give me 1 sec.
It wasn't long before the police found and were following the white van allegedly in question, looking for a reason to pull them over. The police ended up getting them speeding and hitting a curb. When the police got to the front of the vehicle, you can see Gabby is in the middle of a nervous breakdown.
I have really bad OCD, and I was just cleaning and straightening up the back of the van before, and I was apologizing to him and saying, I'm sorry that I'm so mean, because sometimes I have OCD and sometimes I just get really frustrated. I'm not like mean towards him, I guess my vibe is like, I am like in a bad mood. And I was just saying, I'm sorry if I'm in a bad mood. I've just been really stressed. I had so much work I was doing on my computer this morning.
Sit down in the back seat of my car. You're not in any trouble, okay? I'm not going to be putting handcuffs on you.
After putting Gabby in the back of the patrol car, police talked to Brian, who is a lot more relaxed. Police would ask about the notable scratches on Brian's face, which he claims came from Gabby.
Scratches in your neck. You've got one on the left side of your neck. You've got one in your face here, and you've got 4 blood bleeding over there.
Because of this, police would consider charging Gabby with assault, but evidently ended up giving her an easy way out.
Very, very important question. How you answer this question is going to determine what happens next. But the only person who can answer this question is you. Think very hard before you answer the question. Do not quickly answer. Think very hard. When you slapped him those times, were you attempting to cause him physical pain or physical impairment? Was that what you were attempting to do to him? No. What were you attempting to do? What was the reason behind the slapping and stuff? What was it you were attempting to accomplish by slapping?
I was trying to get him to stop telling me something.
Well, it doesn't sound to me like she attempted to injure him.
In the end, police separated the two for the night and filed a protection order between them. They said their goodbyes without any further interaction with each other, and the footage will end while an officer drives and walks Brian to get checked into the hotel. The day after the police encounter, the two got into an explosive argument at this restaurant during breakfast. According to many witness reports, Brian was yelling at the waitress about the bill and food as Gabby stormed out and hopped into the van. After breakfast, the two were heading to Salt Lake City, traveling through Utah as their trip continued. Gabby would post a picture to Instagram taken in Utah on August 24th. This was her last known post before her account activity came to a stop. From here, things start to get weird. Text messages from Gabby's phone and Gabby's mom would continue until August 30th. Her mom had a gut feeling that she wasn't talking to her daughter. This emerged when Gabby referred to her grandfather as Stan, something she never used to do. The second red flag occurred when Gabby no longer wanted to FaceTime her mother, which they usually did at least a few times a week. Her mom figured she was just overthinking and still felt confident her daughter was in good hands. Then, on September 1st, 2021, Brian Laundrie was spotted back in Florida without Gabby, which gave people many questions. The family wanted to know where their daughter was, but Brian didn't answer any Petito phone calls and didn't even bring up Gabby when they demanded answers. Several days would go by before the Petito family filed a missing person report on September 11th, and then the search was on. The police were desperate to talk to Brian to see if he knew anything to help with the case. Well, at this point, Brian went on the run. Since then, the family got a lawyer and refused to talk to the police after Brian was named a person of interest on September 15th for this case. In a press release, Brian's lawyer said, quote, "This is understandably an extremely difficult time for both the Petito family and the Laundrie family. It is our understanding the search has been organized for Ms. Petito in or near Grand Tento National Park in Wyoming. On behalf of the Laundrie family, it is our hope that the search for Ms. Petito is successful and that Ms. Petito is reunited with her family. On advice of the council, the Laundrie family is remaining in the background at this juncture and will have no further comment," unquote. A weekend of the search for Gabby would go on Grand Teton National Park, stretching 24,000 acres, something that could take months to search. Police used everything from drones, boats, four-wheelers, RVs, with no luck. Police had their big break when they could narrow the search after another traveler drives past Gabby's parked van, catching it on his GoPro. New plans were made to search around where this vehicle was last spotted. As the story grabs more attention from the public, crowds would begin to form outside, trying to break his silence.
Brian! Arrest Brian! Arrest Brian!
Where is Gabby?
Soon as the Petito family saw the news story reporting Brian as missing, a message from their lawyer and family had this to say, I quote, "All of Gabby's family want the world to know that Brian is not missing. He is hiding. He is on the run. Gabby is the one missing. #FindGabby. With no signs of Gabby or Brian, detectives would have very little information to help with the hunt. Friends and family were desperate for answers, trying to help any way they could. Then, on September 20th, police would find a body matching Gabby's tattoos near a campground in Bridger Teton National Forest.
The area where investigators made the discovery.
Mark is Gabby Petito, and she was killed.
Gabby Petito was found in a Wyoming National Forest yesterday.
After police told the Petito family about the human remains, the father posted images to social media with a broken heart. An autopsy was done in 24 hours before they could understand the cause of death. Following the discovery, police were able to execute a search warrant for the Laundrie family's home. After searching their home, it remains unclear what was taken from their property as evidence except for Brian's Mustang, which we can see being towed away. According to Brian's family, he supposedly drove his Mustang to the reserve, where he said he was going on a hike, and this is when he never came back. Then 3 days later is when they reported their son Brian missing. This raises so many concerns that Brian's family is trying to protect their son and give him a 3-day head start. After the FBI showed up to question Brian's parents and explain that they had found a body matching Gabby's description, his parents were not thrilled and did not want to be bothered. The family refused to answer any questions and just gave the FBI a contact card for the lawyer as they wished to remain silent. With no new leads or clues, police asked for the public's help. It wasn't until September 24th that police were able to file an arrest warrant for Brian, but not for the murder of Miss Petito. This warrant was actually for the use of unauthorized devices. This would be for using a bank card and withdrawing money that didn't belong to him. Police say a total of $1,000 was withdrawn from Gabby's account on August 30th and September 1st. More than enough to survive on for a few weeks now that he is under the radar. The autopsy results finally came back as a homicide, and the final verdict of how she died is still pending. But Brian cannot remain hidden forever, and neither can the truth. With all the media coverage, there have been many theories that just give me the chills. For example, some people claim Brian went live on Instagram with the video showing him surrounded by a large body of water. Theories came out that Brian is doing this to mess with the public on how he can't be caught and is gloating on Instagram about it. Others think it is just trolls trying to spread false information. However, I noticed that Brian's account appears to be active on Instagram. Another woman claims that she gave Brian a ride after seeing him hitchhiking. Norma Jean Jalavec claims she gave Mr. Laundrie a ride to Spread Creek Dispersed Campground. She had a friendly conversation with him, talking about hiking and animal watching with his fiancée, Gabby. During the drive, Norma claimed he wanted to be dropped off by the gates. She claims she offered to drive Brian to the full way, and that's when he, quote, jumped out of the moving car. One TikToker who claims she has the power to talk to the dead, and she made a TikTok video asking questions about Gabby's case. Since the hunt for Brian started, tons of viewers claim to have seen Brian walking around. Some hardcore invested viewers noticed on the couple's YouTube page, Nomadic Static,
Gabby Petito never goes outside. The wind is so bad.
So, we are right outside Capitol Reef right now.
When Gabby takes the camera points in at Brian, he is seen reading a book titled Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer, written in 2014. The book is about a group of people who all get together and explore different areas. The book covers 4 women who would die along the way in various different ways. Gabby was also reading a book involving death. The book is posted on her Instagram highlights titled Lullaby by Chuck Palahniuk. The story takes the reader to Africa, whereby singing a song can cause a painless death. So, do these books simply show that the couple had an interest in murder mysteries? Or do you think this is more than just a coincidence? With all of the positive support, the hashtag Justice for Gabby was trending. The media's time covering this case caused some people to voice their frustrations, claiming it is a waste of time to report on. One news reporter even calling it missing white woman syndrome.
There's an overrepresentation in media when white women go missing, and an underrepresentation in media when black, brown, and indigenous women go missing.
Best-selling author Don Winslow agreed, sharing this on his Twitter, quote, "I am 67 years old. I have never seen a young American Indian/Native American woman's disappearance covered like the hashtag Gabby Petito disappearance. Not one. That is horribly wrong." As of posting, Gabby's autopsy has not been finalized and Brian is still on the run. The last known update is videos from her candlelight visual and a beautiful cross made of rocks where her remains were found. After many failed attempts by the FBI to find Brian and with no new leads, they were considering calling it quits. That is until Dog the bounty hunter decided to join the hunt for Brian. His real name is Duane Lee Chapman, and he has his own television series, Catching Criminals. Chapman once was a convicted felon in 1976 for first-degree murder, and at that time he was sentenced to 5 years in a Texas prison. Now he uses his skills to help catch people on the run and to bring them to justice. Since joining the hunt, he showed up at the Luane's home, banging on the door in an attempt to talk with the parents. This only resulted in Brian's mother calling the police to have Dog removed from the property. After no communication with the parents, Dog claims he has many new leads from where Brian can be hiding. The first and only location he made public is a small island known as Egmont Key off the coast of St. Petersburg, Florida. Dog said on a Twitter video, this would be and could be a perfect spot for him to hide. Not too many people out here. As of now, very few details are known on how he got here and his plans to find Brian. If you were interested in the Gabby Petito case, be sure to subscribe down below and hit that notification bell, as we will be posting all of the updates in a part 2 video that you simply do not want to miss. That's everything that you need to know as of right now for the Gabby Petito case. This has been Crime Freak. I will be waiting to see you guys in the next story. Until then, stay freaky.